We need to have this conversation, and there's no better time than now. Ladies, I will share with you the number one life hack for women by the time we get to the end of this video. And the reason why I say that is because I think what I have to say is going to all come together. You may even guess what the life hack is, and if you do, please just put it in the comments. I'm curious to see what you think. But anyway, I want to have this conversation because it is important, and it's a conversation that I'm finding that women do not have, and nobody's had with me. And I want to make sure that women, from the time that they're in their 20s to 30s or 40s or 50s and beyond, hear what I have to say and have this conversation, because I think it's a game changer. It's profound. My name is Shania. I am new to YouTube. Haven't been doing this a month. I am a certified life coach, which I use more in my day-to-day job. I work a 9 to 5, and I'm figuring out how to do this new part of my life. If you notice the name of the page, it's Evolve with Grace. So I'm evolving with Grace. Anyway, I'm talking to you as a fellow woman, sister of the earth, okay? So I'm going to say some things that may sound TMI. I'm sorry, but once you've given birth, if you've ever given birth and you've been exposed to everybody else coming in and out of the room, there's really not much that I am not comfortable talking about. This conversation is about how we evolve as women. And if you looked at the thumbnail, you saw an old pair of baby shoes. If I used that thumbnail. Hopefully I did. But in the thumbnail, the picture that you clicked on this video is an old pair of baby shoes. Those were mine. I am 50 years old, 50 and a little over half years old, and my mom kept those baby shoes. When she passed away, we cleaned out her house. Those shoes were there. I don't know what to do with them. It feels weird to throw away your own baby shoes, but they are hard as rocks. And back in the day, baby shoes had the really hard soles and leather. Anyhow, I shared them because to me, it symbolizes how we all start. We all started. Eventually, we all got our walking shoes, and we wobbled and we stumbled and we fell. But we all had that adventure, that journey, that life experience. And we grow. And as we grow, our life experience changes. So I want women, it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, 50s, and beyond. I want you to listen to what I'm saying here, and hopefully you get something out of it. Oh, I'm recording from my basement, and if you see some leftover Christmas decor, please don't judge me. And I have a family that's lifing upstairs. There's people in the house, so please excuse any, extra sounds and noises you may hear in this video. All right, so I want to talk to the ladies in their 20s first. Ladies in the 20s, you need to know that your body is so much more than window dressing for your soul. And I say that is because the essence of who you are is inside of you. But when you're in your 20s, you're very into, a lot of us, I'm not going to say everybody, but how we appear on the outside is super important. You'll get old enough to where you'll have your first visit to the girly doctor, to the ladies' doctor, to the young woman's doctor, to the gynecologist. And you'll realize that your body's health is important. And when you were a kid in health class, you learned, I think it was pretty much 8th grade when I was in high school. I think it was 8th grade or when I was in high school, 8th grade or freshman year in high school, we had health class, and that was the class that everybody waited for. That was a sex ed class where they showed you what the inside of a woman's reproductive system looked like, and men, and then they talked about safe sex, and, we're exposed to that part of our lives that we are eventually going to live. And, parts of ourselves that we will explore, and if you didn't know as a kid, you will learn as you get older. This is why this is not for children, right? So In your younger years, you learn about that. And then when you're young, you're healthy and fit, and you look at life and your body as being something external, something that you judge in a hopefully a positive way, but oftentimes in a negative way. And you don't realize how miraculous your body is. It's a little chilly down here, so I'm chilling with the blanket. You don't realize how miraculous your body is. You don't get to really see what it's capable of. And this means whether you have children or you don't. Because unfortunately, that visitor that shows up every month can make you feel like you got a raw deal. Because you did. You know, you definitely did. And there's no fun in that. But you learn about those parts of your body. You're not really thinking of how your body functions, how it moves, what it does. You don't have the same level of appreciation for what it means to have a strong, healthy body. It's more about the external. And in your 30s, you may get a little bit more of a dose of what your body can do. You may start to feel a little differently, or, you'd be like, oh, I can't run up the stairs as fast as I could. Or you may have some aches. In your 40s, you experience more than that. But in your 40s, sometimes, and unfortunately some women in their 30s, start to see changes in their body that they have no clue about. And when you get in your later 40s and your 50s, you experience your body's changes. But again, there's no one talking about it. If you've watched my previous videos, I've mentioned that I lost my mom at 53 years old. So when she passed away, I would have, oh my God, I think I was like 30. 30s. I'm not doing the math right now. But anyway, the things that I experienced after my 30s, I didn't have my mom to talk about, to talk to about these things and her life experiences. And if you've seen my previous videos, some of the things that I realized that my mom was experiencing, I am more aware of because of my own life experience. The changes that happen can be crazy. For young people, if you're listening to this, this is real life, and I hope that this helps you someday. But perimenopause, I'm just going to say it, perimenopause, right? No one talked to me about that. No one talks about it. Women have a tendency to suffer in silence. They don't say anything. And one day you may wake up not feeling like yourself. And you don't think it has to do with your changes because you didn't have a hot flash. Because everyone says, oh, menopause is when people have hot flashes. No. As you get older, your body is different. How you react to certain situations are different. How you feel is different. Where you just don't feel like yourself. This is not a video on menopause or perimenopause. I'm just sharing some of a woman's experience in life and how we deal with those experiences. So you get a little older and you start to get lines on your face. And instead of looking at those lines and say, wow, that line is there because I laugh, or this is how my smile is. And, I'm probably going to have lines right around here because that's how my smile is. Instead of saying I've lived a life where I smile and laugh a lot, and that mark on my face represents those good times, we look at it in judgment. And it's very hard, because when the wisdom sparkles start coming in, this is what I call my grace. I don't know about you, but I tend to think that the wisdom sparkles, and if you look close, I have a lot of wisdom sparkles right now. And that's all right with me. So the lines on our face. We live in a society where women are always supposed to be young and beautiful. A man gets bald and he's hot and sexy. But a woman deals with those things, and it is something that is not shared or talked about. With the hormonal changes that happen with women, it can cause anxiety, a word that you probably didn't think about years ago in your 20s, because now I'm hearing people talk more about anxiety at a younger age than they did when they were kids, when I was a kid. Um, Dry skin, drier skin, your eyeballs can be dry, and you don't associate that with anything that is normal because no one's ever talked to you about it. You didn't have a class about that in school. And from what I read in books, I think people who went to medical school had 4 hours, 4 hours of training on a woman's body in regards to their post reproductive years, right? You can go into a gynecologist, and when you're young and you're in the stage of your life where you're having kids, you see posters everywhere, women that are pregnant, and whether you're able to have a child or you're older, that constant view of motherhood is thrown. It's in your face. It's in your face. My One of my best friends says to me the other day, she sent me this meme that I think she found on Instagram. It was so funny. There's a book that everybody had to have when I was pregnant, and it was called What to Expect When You're Expecting. She sent the picture of the cover, and the joke was, we need a book that says what to expect 17 years after what you expected, which I thought, we do need that book. We need that book. There is no book. I don't have the kind of patience to sit there and write a whole book like that, but we really could use more than what's out there to have this conversation. Okay, so the lines, the difference in your hair texture, the thickness of your hair can change. And if you're a woman, those things can make you feel bad about yourself, and they can be hidden, right? So if you find that you have a bald spot or your hair is thin, you just figure out ways to cover it up. You'll wear your hair a certain way. Do you believe that they sell fibers that you can sprinkle on like salt to make it look like your hair is thicker? I know, because I have some. Scared to use it because I don't want to look like it's running down my face if I sweat. But I do have it. My hair is not as thick as it was when I was a kid. It could be due to the hairstyles that I've done, or it could be the hormones. Again, nobody talks about that could happen, right? That your hair can thin as you get older. Then there's the jokes that come around as a woman gets older. And oftentimes they're rooted that you would hear when you were younger and you thought they were funny. But when you live it, it's not funny anymore. You get older, your vision's not the same, and you find that you're getting a stronger prescription of glasses. This is not meant to sound depressing. I'm not trying to bring you down here. So just work with me here, right? So things like that happen. And I'm reading Brooke Shields' book. It's called Brooke Shields Can Never Get Older, or Brooke Shields Can't Get Older. Anyway, it's a great book because if you know of Brooke Shields, if some of you even know who Brooke Shields is, if you know of her acting career, she started out when she was a baby. I think she was the Ivory Snow baby. And then she used to model for Calvin Klein jeans. And she was in tons of movies, Blue Lagoon. And she was idolized as a young woman, as a child, way before her time. If you can think of childhood trauma in that world, but her mother protected her a lot. Anyway, she was an icon of beauty, how she wore her Calvins, and the level of pressure that this woman carried and still carries, because I think she's 58 years old now, accepting the fact that her body is not the body she had when she was 20. We all started somewhere, like I said, with the baby shoes, but every stage of your life changes. So you're not the same person that you were yesterday, the day before, or the year before, the month before. Anyhow, so you look at Brooke Shields, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, the pressure women put on themselves to be a good mom, if you are one, to be great at your job if you work, to be a career person, to be a great sibling, a great daughter, a great spouse, a great girlfriend, all the stuff that women put pressure on themselves. They internalize it because we wear a mask, and that mask is that everything is always good all the time, that we're good, we can bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan. Only people around my age and maybe a couple of years younger and some older will know where that's from. But I realize how much we carry to ourselves. We suffer in silence, suffer in silence, suffer in silence. It is a blessing to have women to speak to, especially around your age group, so that you can see that it's not just you. And I'm saying that because people carry so much shame. Women don't normally talk about their financial situations, their debt, except for, on YouTube. But on one-on-one in your personal lives, conversations about the mistakes, emotional spending, emotional eating, it's not a topic that people talk about with their friends. Everything's good. You worry about your kids? Nobody knows you worry about your kids because everything's good, right? You're sad or disappointed about something? Doesn't matter. Anything's good. Everything's good. Now, women in history have been put in mental institutions because people did not know that when women were going through menopause and their mood swings or how they dealt with things emotionally from their hormone imbalances, people thought that they were crazy and they put them in the nut house. I was talking to a friend about it because before I came up with that I wanted to talk about it on this video, I was talking to my friend from work. And we were saying, and she was telling me about a family member that the aunt was an alcoholic, but then when she went through menopause, it really set her off. And they put her in a mental institution because people didn't know about these things. So time goes on, and I am getting close to 50 around this time, right? And I'm a talker, clearly. I started noticing things that are different with me, like being nervous in certain situations that never made me nervous, or sad for no reason. And I just used the word melancholy because I couldn't figure out why I was sad. Still no reason. And I'm like, what is going on? I have a very good life. And I'm one of those people who analyze themselves all the time. So I will sit back and say, girl, what are you upset about? Why are you down? Are you bored? Like, what's going on? And I would sit there and I'm like, okay, girl island by herself. And then trying to smile for my family because I hate for them to worry about me, because moms and women don't like other people to worry. You may get a sprinkle of some who love when people worry about them. But for us, we like to look like we got it all together all the time. So I go through this experience, and I mentioned in one of my videos that I was sad and stressed. And I told my friend, who then assured me that I wasn't losing my mind. I went out to dinner with my husband for our wedding anniversary last February. And we were at a restaurant, and I can tell you that I was crawling out of my skin. I was so uncomfortable. I was nervous. There was nothing physically around me that made me nervous, but I just felt nervous energy. And I did what I do. I played it off, never let him know. I'm literally taking my fingernails and squeezing it in my hand. I'm like, I am so uncomfortable, and I don't know why. I just feel jittery. I feel nervous, right? I feel my heart rate going up, and I don't understand why. So instead of saying to my husband, man, something's up with me, I just don't feel right, I got up several times to act like I had to go to the bathroom. And I would go into the bathroom and I would splash cold water on my face. And I would look at myself in the mirror and say, what's going on? Just have a good time. Relax. And I don't know if it's because it was dark in there and there was probably something crazy going on in the country or in the world that was in my mind so that I wasn't doing it. It's something that made me feel uneasy, and I could not put my finger on it. So anyway, I was carrying that, and I knew that I felt this way, and I just knew that I didn't feel like myself. And I love myself. I love myself because I know that I'm a good person. And I love that I like to have fun. I know that I like to laugh. I know that I like to go out to dinner. So being in a dinner situation, and I love to go out to dinner, being out to dinner and not feeling comfortable, I knew that that wasn't me. So I talked to my friend who was in her 60s. I think she was in her 60s. And she says, honey, you're not crazy. You're going through your changes. And then she shared with me her experiences and what happened with her. And I literally sat in her car and I cried like a baby. And it was the greatest gift that another woman gave to me, mentally, emotionally, that I can be completely just lay it all out for her. And she says, Shania, not everybody gets hot flashes. People tend to think that you get hot flashes, and that means your body's changing, your hormones are changing, or you're going through menopause. That doesn't mean that, And then the stigma that people make comments about menopause. Now, I try not to be the stigma, because the stigma is, oh, mom's going to be a raving lunatic. She's going to be nasty witch without a W but the B. And, oh my God, if she's cranky, oh, she must be going through menopause. I did not want that stigma. So I always just try to play it cool, right? I'm like, I'm not going to be that person. So me being a logical person, I said, let's go to the doctor. I go to my primary, who is a man, and I tell him, I was like, I don't feel like myself. My period's late. I haven't been getting my period, and I don't feel like myself. And he looks at me and he says, are you depressed? I can give you an antidepressant. And I was like, wait a minute. Because I'm not one to jump into drugs as soon as something goes down. Like, I will try to deal with something holistically, meditation, sauna, massages, anything that I can to deal with my own stress. I am not the first person to just go and say, oh, okay, here, I'll take that pill. And I don't want to take anything for long periods of time because I feel like it impacts something else. It is just what my mind tells me. So I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want an antidepressant, but thanks for the offer. And I said, it only tends to happen around certain times of the month. He says, yeah, well, you're older. No sugar, Sherlock. You're older and your estrogen drops, or your hormones drop. And this is how we treat women who are feeling the way you do. We give them antidepressants. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I will figure this out. And he says, well, if it's a bad week, because it was really like a couple of days out of the month, and I never related it to my cycle or expected cycle. He says, if it becomes where you feel like that for a month, then come back and I will give you antidepressants. So now I'm on a mission. I'm like, oh, I'm going to figure this out. I watched all the YouTube videos. I love YouTube. And it's YouTube University for me. So I go on YouTube and I'm looking at all the stuff. Oh, it's a little chilly down here. I go on YouTube. I look at all the videos that I can find. Mary Haber, I think her name is, great. She talks about a woman's changing body and the lack of education and conversation about this, right? Then I'm like, all right, let me go to my gynecologist. So I go to the gynecologist and I say, hey, could I be going through my changes? And she's like, we don't do hormone replacement therapy. We don't believe in that here. Whoa, okay. I wasn't asking for that. I was just asking for validation to know that what I'm experiencing is normal. Normal? That's what I want to know. And like I said, if you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s and you were watching this, good for you. Good for you. Because there will be a time in your life where things do not feel like they're the same, and you're going to question everything about yourself. And it can bring you down if you do not have a conversation with someone who can tell you, like my friend told me. So I'm your friend. I'm telling you. Please, sisters, listen. So I go for my appointment, yada, yada. And I said to her, well, my blood work that my doctor did, he says that he said all my hormone levels are normal. And she's like, well, that's just the day that you had your blood work. Hormones fluctuate. She's like, you're 49. Yeah, it's perimenopause. You can have perimenopause for 10 years. 10 years before you go into menopause. Okay. So, go through all that. I didn't get my period for 9 months. And I'm like, oh, yay. this is what this is. This evil little demon that's been in my life for all these years, she's going to be bye-bye. How much money I'm going to save on all the little things that I hate buying in the supermarket. All those things, how much money I'm going to save. And oh my gosh, I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to worry about swimming. None of this stuff that women get tortured with every month. This is going to be awesome. All right, I can ride this out. So for Christmas Eve, Santa decided to give me a gift. Yes, he did. Santa said, hey girl, yeah, this is for you. You thought she was gone, right? Here, she's back. Merry Christmas. Visitors here. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me, man. I lasted like 9 months without this thing. Boom, there she is. Okay. Yes, I'm still got to deal with that. I'm like, it is what it is. I know one day it's going to go and great on it. But then I'm starting thinking, I'm like, how can I have this experience and still get my period? So then, of course, then that sends me down the rabbit hole. I'm like, why? So you know what I did is I started talking to women. And I'm going to say something again about women and connecting with other women and the importance of conversation. Women will go into stalls of bathrooms. If there's other women in the stalls, their number 2 business is not happening. Not without a fight, where you clench your cheeks and the cold sweat is on your head. And if you're lucky enough to be in a bathroom that's handicapped, you get to hold on to the bar to hold it in suffrage, because you do not want to go with somebody else in the bathroom. Guess what? Everybody goes to the bathroom. Everybody. And if they don't, they're going to be sick and die. Everybody does it. Everybody goes. But women, we put this stigma on ourselves to be tight asses. Like we literally won't go to the bathroom and let it all out because someone could hear it, smell it, like as if theirs smells rosy. Like their release of solid waste smells wonderful and ours is awful. So we will suffer in silence. You know why you're silenced? Because you don't even want anybody to know that you're in the stall. You just hope they leave, and then you hope they didn't see your feet to recognize it as you sitting in there waiting to go. But men don't have this problem. I know men don't have this problem because I have this conversation with my husband. And I say, babe, I got to go to the bathroom. Go in there and go. I can't. There's other people in there. What? You women hold it when you go in there? You wait for everybody to leave to go? He's like, not us guys, man. He's like, we go in there and we let it rip. And I'm like, never. You have to be kidding me. But again, when I say that we hold on to things and to the pressures of stuff, we won't even go to the bathroom with other people in there. Yes, I'm talking to you. You know it's you, because I know it's not just me, because I'm the other one in the stall laughing as the other person is probably clenched like they can crush diamonds waiting for me to get out. So I know how that works. Anyhow, I digress. So my work bestie, I talk to her about everything. She's been going through some gastrointestinal issues and we talk about it. And she always prefaces it and she's like, I'm sorry, but I'm like, girl, sister girl, say it. Say it, what you're going through. It's okay. I'm here for you. I can listen to it. She's like, I know it's TMI. I don't care about TMI. There is no TMI with us. This is the reality of it. And we talk. And we talk about it. And we talk about constipation. And we talk about sex. And we talk about money. And children. And spouses. And work stuff. And everything. And it's one of the most freeing relationships I have. Because there are no pretenses. I don't have to pretend that I don't go to the bathroom. And it is freeing. So her and I are talking. And another person comes over. And we get into a conversation. And she was saying, oh my God. And I didn't know she was older than me. It's another coworker. She's like, oh my God. I was a nervous wreck. She's like, so my son, who always answers the phone, He answers the phone all the time. I called him and he didn't answer. And I called him again. Like I waited like 10 minutes and he didn't answer. She's like, I started getting a knot in my stomach. And I started to think he was dead. I said, you thought he was dead in the ditch, didn't you? You did. You thought he was dead in the ditch? And she's like, yes. I was freaking out. She's like, I wanted to vomit. I said, you thought your son was dead in the ditch? And she's like, yeah. She says, how do you know? I said, because I've thought it all the time. I said, every time I see a freaking ambulance coming in the direction from my home, I'm like, okay, where's everybody? Welfare check. Where's everybody? Everybody's good? That didn't happen when we were in our 20s and 30s. But I can tell you the relief that she had on her face when the three of us had this conversation and we told her, yes, I've had that experience. And my other friend tells her, oh, yeah, that's a thing. That happens to us. That happens. She's like, really? She's like, when I told my husband, he looked at me like I was nuts. My son says, Mom, I was taking a test. I couldn't answer the phone. I said, but you didn't think that. You didn't think, oh, maybe he fell asleep. I said, man, my daughter lives alone, and one day she didn't answer my phone call, and she's one of those people who always answer the phone, and she didn't answer. When I tell you that I had that feeling of dread, I'm like, what if she fainted and hit her head and she's dead? And she's laying on the floor and she's waiting for someone to come and help her, and no one's helping her because I keep calling her and she's not answering. Like, Mom, why don't you go check on your kid? How are you just going to leave her there on the floor? 15 minutes later, she calls me. Hello, Mom? Yeah, I fell asleep. I didn't hear the phone. Now, why didn't I think that? You can call me crazy, but I know that I'm not. Or maybe there's an off chance that I am. There's a group of people just like me who have the same type of fears that did not exist in my 20s and my 30s. Now, I'm saying this again, and I'm going to tell you what the life hack is. Ladies in your 20s and 30s, know that just like when you were a baby and you stumbled and fell, that your life changes. You are not the same person that you were last week. We are always changing, always evolving. Life changes, and you learn to embrace it. Okay? If you're going to the bathroom and you're holding it in all the time, you may need to reconsider. I'm not saying to be like that part of Dumb and Dumber. If you've seen the movie, and if you haven't, you watch it, you'll know which part I'm talking about. I'm not saying to be like that, but you have to give yourself grace and accept your humanity. Know that what you go through and what you do, everybody does. Everybody does. And you don't have to be the poster girl of oh my God, I've lived on this earth for 50 years. And would you believe I've never gone to the bathroom, but when I did, that one time I did, it smelled just like roses. You don't have to be that person. You don't have to put that pressure on yourself. The life hack that all women need to know is to keep talking. Keep talking. Keep talking, keep talking, keep talking, keep talking, keep talking, right? If you were younger and you want to know something, talk to someone who's older than you. Talk to someone who's in a different season of life than you are, because you will learn something. Talk to women that are your age or women that are in that same season of life. Talk to them, because you will know that you're not cray-cray. You will know that. And you will know that you're not alone. And then you will get tips and understanding and someone to validate your fears. Because as much as I love my husband and men are wonderful, they don't know what it's like to be a girl. They don't know what it's like to be us. You have no better professional that you're going to get to talk to than a woman who's had life experience. You can go to your doctor and you can put the little paper thing over you, and someone's going to say, oh yeah, you're getting older. That doesn't tell you anything about your feelings, your emotions. You can go to your husband or your friend or your boyfriend and you can say these things, but if they don't have any kind of experience with it, then they're not going to be able to help you. Women need to talk. It is free therapy. It will help reduce your blood pressure. It will help your sanity. It will help your peace. It will help your stress. It will help your sense of connection with other people because you know that you are not alone. Life hack. I don't care what it is. It could be your kid that doesn't want to go to bed. It could be your messy house that you have to clean. It can be that you don't feel like cooking dinner. Talk to other women. Talk to women. Don't be ashamed. Don't carry shame. Don't carry shame because everybody's got stuff. Everybody's got stuff. Do not carry shame. Do not sit there and say, oh, I don't want to talk to this one because they may judge me. Oh, I don't want to talk to this person because then they're going to think less of me or they're going to laugh at me. Sister girls, everybody has something. You cannot be an adult and not have some stuff. I mentioned my cousin who I love dearly. When her blood pressure was high and she was in the hospital, and I said, do you talk to other women? Do you talk to a woman that you... And she says, no, I have trust issues. Women are the best therapy you were ever going to get. Ever going to get. Me sitting here talking to you guys. I hope you get something from this. And you know what? This video is kind of long, and I'm not gonna talk much longer. I just want you to know that you're friggin' amazing. What your body is capable of, what you experience in life is incredible. No one can do what you can do. I'm not talking about birthing a child because I know there are women who cannot, and there are some who don't want to. And that's cool too. You're an amazing specimen. And I don't want to say God made the rough draft before he made the masterpiece because that wouldn't sound right. But there's got to be something to it. I hope you have a great day. Like my video. I'm new to this. I'm really trying. Subscribe, please. Share with your friends. Tell me, did you know what I was going to say the life hack was? And if you didn't, what'd you think it was? Please. Hope to talk to you again. Have a good one.